by clicking on this video, I'm assuming that you're probably a young man who wants to do the best for himself. You want to become the best version of yourself, and you've clicked on this video in order to help you in your pursuit of doing that. Therefore, I want to help you guys as much as possible. So in this video, I'm going to be going over with you guys why you need to stop striving for perfection, how it's holding you back, and how you can be making so much more progress if you divert your focus away, you divert your pursuit away from going for perfection, right? And I'm going to explain it through this video, going through obviously why that's the case and obviously what to be striving for instead. So without further ado, before we get into this video, I just want to briefly introduce myself to you guys. So my name is Ryan. I'm a 19-year-old and I've undergone a physical and mental transformation over the past 3.5 years, taking myself from this in 2021 to looking like this now in 2024. And I'm on a mission to help inspire and educate skinny young men in order to help sculpt their physique, because as you've just seen, I was once in their shoes 3.5 years ago, and I just want to open their eyes to what's actually possible in their lives, because it has genuinely changed my life and I want to help change other people's lives. And in order to help me do this, I've just really recently launched my very own free online community. It will be the top link in the description, basically just to give the skinny young men in this world a helping hand through their first little stages in the gym journey to help them make the most efficient progress they possibly can. So without further ado, let me get into this video and let me teach you guys why you need to stop striving for perfection and how you can make so much more progress if you stop doing this. So obviously the first thing that I want to go over is you need to acknowledge that perfection is an illusion, right? Perfection doesn't exist. It's a moving target, right? The more you progress and the more you get better, right, the further away perfection is going to seem. It's like, so obviously you're at the start of your gym journey, so you're here, and your idea of perfection is here, and as you keep progressing, perfection is also going to keep going up, and the standard of your perfection is going to keep going up and up and up until it just gets to a point where it's unrealistic, right? Perfection, you can't achieve perfection. It's not real. It's an illusion, right? And if you're chasing something that's not real, then just think about that for a second. Put yourself in a third person perspective and look at yourself chasing something that isn't real. You're basically telling yourself a lie, and you don't want to be telling yourself a lie. So you need to be aware that perfection is an illusion, and you want to be setting yourself some realistic goals, and you want to be striving for something that's obviously you want to be striving for the highest standards possible, but you also want to make it realistic, so it's motivating and you're going to be driven every day. And on those days where you don't want to get out of bed, you're going to want to get out of bed and fucking smash it, okay? So you need to stop striving for something that's not real and that's an illusion and that's unrealistic, because it's going to end, it's all going to go tits up. You're going to feel demotivated, because you haven't achieved what you want to achieve, which is perfection, which is unrealistic. Therefore, the chances of you feeling disappointed in yourself, that you've let yourself down because you haven't achieved what you wanted to achieve and what you wanted to strive for, is going to be very high. Therefore, it can also affect your mental health if you feel disappointed in yourself, okay? So you need to stop striving for perfection and just acknowledge that perfection is an illusion. It's unrealistic, and you need to just realize it's a moving target, so don't get too wound up about it. What's perfect today may not be perfect tomorrow, and what's perfect today can obviously change tomorrow, okay? And I just want to reiterate something to you guys. So professional bodybuilders, so you've got your Chris Bumsteads, you've got your Arnold Schwarzeneggers, you've got your Derek Lunsfords, you've got the best bodybuilders in the world, you've got your Dorian Yateses, you've got your Ronnie Colemans, all of those big guys, all of those elite guys, you've got all of them, and they never feel fully satisfied with their physiques, right? And this is because perfection's not real, right? You always talk about how, you always hear in bodybuilding how once you start, you're obviously proud of how far you've come, but you're never satisfied. That's because perfection isn't real, right? If perfection was real, then everyone would be satisfied, right? And it's sort of a blessing in disguise that perfection isn't real, and that you're never satisfied, because that keeps you going, that keeps you wanting more, therefore you're going to be more successful in your life, right? And I want to give you guys a little metaphor to put it into perspective of how perfection is an illusion. So it's like chasing perfection is like running on a treadmill. You're constantly moving, but you're never getting anywhere. And this basically implies that obviously you're making progression, and you're constantly changing, you're making more progression, you're getting bigger, you're sculpting your physique more, but this also means that your perception of perfection changes as well. So, it's like running on a treadmill. You don't get anywhere, but you're still making progression, okay? So that's basically what I mean, and you need to acknowledge that perfection is an illusion sooner rather than later, so you can start making more exponential progress, and progress you never thought you could make, okay? And now let's actually go on to what you need to start focusing on. So just to revisit my plan, I've got three main things that I want to go through with you guys in order to, divert your focus away from perfection and actually strive towards these things, okay? So the first thing that I want to go on about is how you need to focus on progress and not perfection, and this will actually get you further, right? The goal should be progress. The goal should be progressing every day, being better than yesterday, as Vanquish clothing brand has as their motto. You've got to be better than yesterday, and that's what you need to be striving for, not perfection, not something that's an illusion, and not something that's unrealistic, okay? Every step forward is an absolute massive win, right? It's like, for example, gaining £5 is an absolute massive win, right? PBs, if you get stronger on the bench press than you were last week, that's an absolute massive win. Even just showing up to the gym for the first time, you don't even do anything. Even if you just show up and you go on the treadmill for 5 minutes and you walk out, that is an absolutely massive win, because you're better than yesterday and you're doing stuff that you were maybe procrastinating over, last week, or you're scared to do. So it's all about the little wins, and the more little wins you get over time, when you zoom out, it's gonna be, the progress is gonna be absolutely massive, okay? And if you're striving for perfection, then these massive wins aren't gonna seem like massive wins, Gaining £5, you're gonna be like, oh, I should have gained 10 in this time, or if you hit a PB on bench, you'd be like, oh, I should be 10 kilos stronger on bench by now, fuck's sake. Or even showing up to the gym and you don't necessarily do anything, and you just leave like 10 minutes after, I'm gonna be like, oh, fuck's sake, I'm such a fucking idiot. Why did I not do that? I should have done a full workout, okay? You need to realise and you need to understand that these small wins in the long term add up to be absolutely massive. And as I said, if you zoom out in the long term, then you're going to see that the progress is exponential, and that the progress you've made is absolutely ridiculous. So it's all about focusing on progress and not the perfection, because if you get too wound up about perfection, then as I said, you're going to be disappointed, you're going to be demotivated, you're going to be frustrated, which can not just affect you physically in your physical progress, but it's going to affect you mentally as well. You're going to start to look down on yourself, and you're going to be disappointed in yourself. So you need to be focusing on being better every day. And if you do this, and over the long term, you're going to make some crazy gains. Obviously, building muscles is like building a house. It doesn't all happen at once. It happens brick by brick. And just like building a house, building a physique is workout by workout. And eventually, you'll get to where you want to be, right? And if you're focusing on perfection, and if you're focusing on something that's unrealistic, then you're not going to be taking every workout as it comes, right? So it's so important that you actually focus on progression, and you focus on setting yourself some short-term goals and making progress every time. For example, I don't necessarily think about me and what I want to be lifting in 10 years, because that may put me down, and then that may dissatisfy me in the gym. However, I think of what I lifted last week, and I think of what I want to lift next week, okay? So you've got to think of the short term, and you've got to think about the small wins in the short term, which are going to add up. When you zoom out and see your progress in 6 months, you're going to be like, whoa. Okay, so focus on progress and not bloody perfection, okay? And this is because the present is the greatest gift we have. So many people don't realise this, and so many people take their lives for granted, and they don't realise that the present is the greatest gift we have. So you can't be getting stuck up in something that's unrealistic, aka perfection, and that's an illusion. And you're gonna let go of the things that actually matter in life. For example, the journey you're embarking on, the present, you having fun with your friends, and not getting too wound up about perfection and something that's unrealistic, and you're gonna just waste your brain power and your energy just thinking about something that's unrealistic. You want to be in the present, you want to be in the moment, and you actually want to be excited about the journey ahead. You don't necessarily want to use this as demotivation. You want to use this as fuel, right? You want to use this to excite you, right? I'll be brutally honest with you. If I could go back in time, obviously there's some things I'd change, but if I could do the gym journey all over again, if I could do these 3 years all over again, I would do them all over again, because it's been absolutely amazing. I've had so much fun. I've met so many good friends through the gym, I love every one of them, right? And yeah, I'll go back in time again. So you just got to embrace the present and embrace your current situation. If you're not necessarily where you want to be, you just need to, you just need to take a moment, right, and just reflect on where you are now, the progress you've made, and if you haven't made any progress yet, and if you're a skinny guy starting the gym, embrace where you are now and just get excited for the journey ahead, because you're going to change your life for the better. So stop getting so wound up about the end destination and the perfection, and you just want to focus on the positive changes you're making day to day, and obviously how you're getting better day to day, and that is going to lead to you having increased motivation, increased drive and fire inside you, and you're going to be more fueled to keep going and to keep conquering your goals and just conquer the world. Okay, so embrace the present, stop thinking about the destination, enjoy the journey. You know Another thing I want to say about this as well is that if you enjoy the journey, if you stop focusing on the destination and you actually start to enjoy the journey and embrace the journey and love the journey towards a destination, then you're going to get to your destination and you're going to arrive at your destination quicker than you anticipated. That's the second thing that I want to go on about in terms of, stop striving for perfection, embrace the present, embrace the little changes you're making day to day, okay? So now the final thing that I want to get onto is how perfectionism and striving for perfection and having the ideal goal of perfection in your head is going to burn you out, right? As I've been saying, striving for perfection is unrealistic, it's an illusion, therefore you're never going to get there. Therefore, you're going to keep going, and the likelihood of you overtraining and overdoing it and, just doing too much is going to be very high. Therefore, that's going to lead to you being fatigued, not just physically, but mentally, and also burning out. And perfectionism makes people feel like no matter how much they do, it's not enough, and therefore, as I said, they feel disappointed, they look down on themselves, therefore the chances of them quitting is going to be very, very high. And this can actually lead to fucking up your mental health as well. If you don't believe you're good enough, and if you look down on yourself, and if you're disappointed in yourself, then you're going to forget about the things that matter in life, and you're just going to be all down in the dumps all the time, and you're not going to be in a good place. And then that's when things start going on a spiral downwards, okay? So you want to avoid that spiral downwards, and you want to avoid this burnout. And I'll be honest with you, I've never personally been through burnout myself. I'm currently on a deload week right now, so I'm pretty tired and I'm pretty fatigued, but I've never burnt out. And from what I've heard about burnout, proper burnout, it's absolutely awful. You don't want to do anything for like months on end, and it's just horrible. So you want to avoid this, therefore you want to avoid striving for perfection. So what you guys need to do is just listen to your body, right? If you think you're not doing enough but you're absolutely fucked, right, then just rest. Do what's best for your body now, and then in a long time you're going to thank yourself, right? However, if you keep overtraining and if you keep overdoing it and doing too much in the moment, then that's going to negatively affect you in the long term, and you're not going to get as far as you actually wanted to. Therefore, you're going to feel dissatisfied and disappointed, okay? So you've got to listen to your body. Don't rush things, and as the old story goes, slow and steady wins the race. I'm assuming you have heard of this. A lot of people have, maybe you may not. But basically, the story of slow and steady wins the race consists of a turtle and a hare in a race. I don't know what it is, but obviously the turtle is very slow, the tortoise is very slow, and the hare just speeds ahead, and it thinks it's got so much time on its hands, therefore it has a little kip, and it takes advantage of it too much. Therefore, the turtle actually overtakes it, even though it's super slow, and the turtle ends up winning the race. So slow and steady wins the race, and it's like striving for perfection is like trying to sprint in a marathon. You're going to burn out very quickly and you're going to give up, right? Because it's physically impossible to sprint a marathon. And if you take it slow in a marathon, if you're keeping a steady pace and if you're jogging at a steady pace, then obviously you're going to finish the race. However, if you go full steam out the blocks, then you're probably going to give up within the first 400 meters, okay? So it's so important that you realize perfectionism leads to burnout because it's unrealistic. Therefore, you're going to keep going, you're going to keep doing too much. So you need to stop striving for perfectionism, strive for progress, not perfection, embrace the present, and you're going to make so much more progress than you thought you ever would, okay? So that is the end of this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video and you truly learned something about why striving for perfection is a waste of time. You're not going to get anywhere, and if anything, it's going to have negative effects on you, okay? Strive for progress, embrace the present, and realize that perfectionism leads to burnout, okay? So if you guys have enjoyed this video, then I really, really appreciate it if you could drop a like, a comment, and a subscription down below. Give me some video ideas in the comments, and if you'd like and subscribe, then you know, the algorithm's going to recommend me to you more. Therefore, I can educate you more. I can help you through your process of transforming from that skinny young man in order to sculpting your physique more, and we can all win together, okay? And as I said at the beginning of the video, if my free community sounds like it ticks all your boxes, then it'll be the top link in the description. I'd absolutely love for you to be in there. Let's grow this brotherhood together, and let's sculpt our physiques together. So without further ado, I will see you guys in the next video.